The Bengals aren't officially eliminated from playoff contention, but Joe Burrow had a very strong message about the P word. That plus the latest on Orlando Brown Jr. from Orlando himself. That and more right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com here at Paycor Stadium in this lovely, lovely lounge where the Bengals, are getting set, are preparing for Sunday's matchup against the Steelers. A must-win matchup, goes without saying. Today's video, by the way, brought to you by BetUS. More from BetUS in just a second, but let's get to the message of the day before we hear from Orlando Brown Jr., who talked in the Bengals locker room. But the message of the day, very, very simple from Joe Burrow. When asked about the playoffs, he said, "I'm not thinking about the playoffs. We have to go 1 week at a time." Added that, quote, "We're not out of it yet." This entire video posted right here on CBT, so you can check that out after you finish watching this. But the point is, Joe Burrow is not thinking about the playoffs. He doesn't want to talk about the playoffs. He's focused on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he told the team something that makes a lot of sense. Control what you can control. Focus on your game, getting better every day, the small things. And I asked him how important that was, especially for the young guys, the guys that are on social media and haven't been in this position before. And quite frankly, Joe hasn't. Joe's never been 4-7 in his life. Jamar Chase has never been 4-7 in his life. But the thing that they have done is gone on runs in December in the NFL. And if the Bengals are going to do it again, and I did a video earlier today on this, please check it out. Some of these young guys are going to have to step up. Some of these young guys are going to have to make an impact over the next 6 weeks. And so that is the element that, to me, I was curious how Joe is approaching it. And it's very small. It isn't a big, broad view. It's, hey, get better today, Jermaine Burton. Hey, get better today, Cordell Volson. Get better today, insert young player that you're hoping. And Cordell's not necessarily young. He's very experienced. But every guy needs to focus on that. And if they do that, well, then who knows? Maybe they can rattle off a few wins and get back in this thing. But at 4-7, the 10 seed in the AFC, they're not in this thing. And one way that could help them get back in this thing, a very big way, would be Orlando Brown Jr. Will he return? Will he play on Sunday? You'll hear what he had to say about his health, about participating in today's practice. And, we'll see if he's able to go on Sunday. You'll hear from Orlando coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. Go to BetUS today to get in on all of the action, whether it's the Bengals, who are home favorites against the Pittsburgh Steelers, or any of the other Week 13 matchups. The bye has come and gone. The Bengals are 4-7. No one expected that this year, and you'd be lying if you said you did. But there's plenty to wager on. All of the Week 13 NFL games, the Thanksgiving games, and so much more. You can do that. There's even a Black Friday game this year. So don't forget that and get in on the action with BetUS. Right now, you use code YouTube150. You'll get a 150% bonus on that first deposit up to $2,000. Again, that's code YouTube150 to get a 150% bonus on that first deposit. And then you'll get a 125% bonus on your second and third deposits, all with code YouTube150 at BetUS.com. The ping pong tables returned to the Bengals locker room this week, while Orlando Brown Jr. returned to the field. Orlando talked for just over 2 minutes at his locker on Wednesday, ahead of Thanksgiving, ahead of a key meeting that he was getting to. And I really appreciate Orlando for taking a few minutes to talk with us. So check this out. It's about 2.5 minutes or so. Orlando Brown Jr. on his health, where he's at, his rehab, his injury, his recovery, and if he thinks he's going to play on Sunday against the Steelers.
Last week for you?
Very helpful, very helpful. Just being able to get some time off. I think everybody obviously benefited from it.
Sounded like, based on what Zach said earlier, he's pretty optimistic he'll be able to go. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, man, we'll just have to see him. Just taking it day by day. I'm pretty optimistic too, though.
How important, obviously, for the team, it's important, but for you, how important has it been to try to do everything you can to get back with this?
Oh, very important, man. It's never easy dealing with injury. my first time, I feel like, in my life and career missing time. And so it's been hard staying on the sidelines watching the guys, man, but they've been fighting, they've been scrapping. Man, but it's really important to me.
What do you need physically to do over the next few days to play Sunday?
Yeah, man, just kind of taking it day by day. I obviously dealing with a unique injury in a way, but just kind of taking it day by day.
Not exactly.
The captains met at all throughout the last few weeks? The captains met specifically?
Not necessarily. Yep.
Not exactly easing in going against T.J. Watt and the Steelers. How would you characterize your meetings with him over the years?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's one of the most dominant football players in football, man. I got a ton of respect for him. I've had a chance to be around him at a few different Pro Bowls, and, man, he's a really good player. I mean, he works his ass off. He shows up on the stat sheet, even with batted balls and all these different plays he makes, man. I got a ton of respect for him.
This is rare for linemen, but is there a scenario where maybe you could be limited on Sunday, or would you go into it thinking you're going to play the whole game?
Oh, man, I would go into it thinking I'm going to play the whole game. Yep.
Was it a contact injury or when you got injured the first time?
Yeah, the contact injury the first time versus Cleveland. Yep.
You were getting close a few weeks ago, and then it seemed like kind of dialed it back a little bit. Was there any kind of setback that you faced?
No, I just think that, it's gotten better, obviously throughout the time that I've been out. So, I think that's really more of what was being spoke about.
We're the top tackle in the league before you got hurt. How much of this is wanting to get out there and really take a crack at getting that all-pro nod that you feel like?
Absolutely, man. I mean, not just the personal goal that I have, but, the goal we have as a team, man, to get in the dance, get in the playoffs. Joe's playing at an MVP level, man. We got a lot on the line, so we decided to get back out there with the guys, hopefully.
How frustrating has it been for y'all to see how well Joe and Jamar have been playing and the results just haven't been there?
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating, but, at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control.
Are you a big picture kind of guy? Like, you look at 6 games left, we may have to win all 6. Are you a big picture kind of guy with that kind of thing?
Definitely. I mean, man, just taking it 1 week at a time.
Getting Orlando Brown Jr. back would be huge for this Bengals team, and we know that. We know how important he is to this Bengals unit. I asked Joe Burrow about it, and he complimented Cody Ford. At the same time, explained how important Orlando is. And that's why, to me, you really, if you're Orlando and you can go this week, you're still in it as a team, go. You lose this week, you're probably not going to be in it anymore. And so then you can rest this injury, make sure this injury can heal, whatever it is. Because I think it is a unique injury. That's how he described it. You heard him say that's a unique injury. Fine, it's unique. If he can play with it, I know he will. I think he's going to try. Doesn't mean I know that he's going to play. I think he's going to try to do everything he can in his power to be on the field on Sunday. And that's really basically basing on his NFL track record, what he's done when he was in Baltimore, what he's done when he was in Kansas City, what he did last year with the Bengals when a lot of people were underwhelmed with his performance. He was dealing with a pretty serious groin injury, and he was still on the field, still finding a way to play. So this injury must be pretty unique. It must be something that he clearly can't play with or hasn't been able to play with up to this point. We'll see if he can do it on Sunday. It would be huge for the Bengals if he could, and obviously it's a must-win for the Bengals if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. We have a ton for you on this channel. I get it coming out of the bye. It's kind of you're kind of sluggish. You're like, oh, wait, the Bengals are back. Well, make sure you check out this week's episode of Enter the Jungle, including an awesome thing that Paradigm Construction is doing here in Cincinnati. That's Ted Karras' construction company. Really cool thing. You got to check it out. And make sure you get to BetUS as well, because today's video was brought to you by BetUS. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.